Hello, brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me again today. Today, I wanted to just go over the facts that are out there about Tyler Robinson, who is the alleged gunman that killed Charlie Kirk. And it's disputed. There's lots of people on the left. I think they're mostly have blue sky accounts that are saying these are all lies. MAGA is lying. But I thought I would just go over the facts that we know. And so here we've got a story here with Tyler Robinson grew more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. Mom told cops as Charlie Kirk suspect charged could face firing squad. So let's watch this video. This is out of the New York Post.
Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail.
All right, so I thought it was important to watch that. If you're on the left and you've got a blue sky account and you're active over there, you've probably heard that this is really because Kirk was demanding the Epstein files be released and they wanted to shut him up. A lot of the left believe that story. For that to be true, you would need to get the FBI, the Utah state government, and the Utah local police all colluding on that. It just seems fanciful to me. I would really need to see some evidence that these people are lying. Those stories are out there. I just posted about Jimmy Kimmel, a chat show host, who was saying that the guy who murdered Charlie Kirk was MAGA, and we all know it. So I want to just get the facts out here. Here's what the authorities have told us. So you either believe the authorities are lying or you don't, and you decide. Tyler Robinson grew more pro-gay, trans rights-oriented. Mom told cops as Charlie Kirk suspect charged could face firing squad. So you also have to believe his entire family wants him to get the death penalty during this Epstein cover-up, and his boyfriend and his other associates that he talked to on Discord. Tyler Robinson had grown more pro-gay and trans rights oriented in the past year. His mother told cops in new details revealed Tuesday, as the accused Charlie Kirk assassin was hit with charges that could land him in front of the firing squad. Okay, so tell me in the comments, why is his mother saying this if it's not true? Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray called Kirk's killing an American tragedy as he provided more stunning details about the role Robinson's parents played in his surrender while speaking at a press conference. The developments came as the 7 state charges were announced against Robinson, a 22-year-old with a trans boyfriend, including the top rap of aggravated murder, which qualifies for the death penalty in Utah. And I hear usually in Utah, I think it's usually lethal injection, but they do still have firing squad on the books. So you never know. Gray said he would, in fact, seek Robinson's execution, which could be by firing squad under Utah law. The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy, Gray told reporters at the Utah County Health and Justice Building in Provo. Charlie Kirk was murdered while engaging in one of the most sacred and cherished American rights, the bedrock of our democratic republic, the free exchange of ideas in a search for truth, understanding, and a more perfect union. The top prosecutor called Kirk's killing an offense against the state and to the peace and enjoyment of the people of Utah and all of those who visit us here, as he listed a litany of charges against the suspect, including felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, obstruction of justice for witness tampering, and commission of a violent offense in the presence of children. The obstruction charges, both felonies, stem from Robinson's allegedly trying to conceal the rifle used in the shooting and disposing of the clothing he was wearing. Both counts of witness tampering relate to instructions Robinson relayed to his live-in boyfriend, a man transitioning into a woman, directing him to delete his text messages to stay silent if police questioned him. And yeah, it's the other thing. So his boyfriend, why is he releasing the texts? If you believe this is a big Epstein conspiracy, how do you explain this? Tell me in the comments. Before he got radicalized, I'm assuming probably with dad. Yep, here he is with his dad. After this press conference, I will be filing notice to seek the death penalty. I do not make this decision lightly. It's one I've made as county attorney based solely on the evidence and circumstances of the crime. So people that are going to say, yeah, it's political, that's why he's getting the death penalty. No, he's getting the death penalty because he murdered someone. The chats came out really quick because it's alleged the boyfriend gave the chats to the FBI and said, here they are. Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard. What? You're joking, right? I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while, longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can get home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. See, you can't keep the secret because he's a lunatic. He's crazy and a narcissist. He has to tell somebody. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. Yeah, there was a lunatic there at the event yelling and saying, I did it. The police arrested that person, but that person distracted the police from looking from the real gunman. So that was one of the reasons that he was able to get away, because everyone thought they had him. And it turned out it was just a crazy guy in the crowd. And that guy has since been arrested. He was charged with making a false report and obstruction of justice, I believe, but also during the investigation, they checked out his phone and they found he had child pornography on the phone. It's been reported. I think I read he had pictures of underage girls in underwear or something. And so he's another lunatic, but not really related to the case. And then there was a second man arrested that just met the description of the shooter. That guy was released. The left is saying it's all too clean, it's all too neat. These texts aren't real. This is all a big conspiracy. This is going to be the new JFK conspiracy. Let's see what else we got here. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out. There's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I'll have left no evidence, going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully, they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Here's his third picture is missing. Somebody's deleted the link. It's one of the reasons I save videos, because you never know when people are going to delete stuff. The fourth, how long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in the bush where I changed outfits. I'm sure the rifle has a serial number. I'm surprised he didn't try to file it off or something. Well, maybe he planned to give it back to Grandpa. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with me. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Yeah. See, his old man knows he's got Grandpa's rifle. At some point, he's going to ask what happened to Grandpa's rifle. Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox, so news, I might have to have a stroke, all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think it was a $2,000 scope. Nice scope. Delete this exchange. So there's the obstruction of justice right there, or witness tampering. My dad wants photos of my rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. When the authorities first released the pictures of the alleged rifle, I read Grandpa said, "That looks a lot like my rifle. Tyler's got that, right? Where's Tyler?" And so now his dad started texting him saying, "Hey, Grandpa's wondering, where are you? Grandpa's wondering where your rifle is, or where his rifle is. Can you send me a picture of his rifle? Then I could calm Grandpa down." Had some kind of exchange like that. So my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle. It's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. And yeah, I believe the boyfriend immediately talked to the police. And I don't know if he did it when the police showed up or if he went to the police, but he doesn't want to go to jail for the rest of his life as being an accessory on this. Perhaps the boyfriend is not actually crazy. Robinson was arrested after a 33-hour manhunt and was turned into authorities by his father in connection with the assassination of the 31-year-old Turning Point USA founder. Shortly before he surrendered, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. That must have been rough for mom. It must have been rough for dad when mom said, "Hey, I think that's Tyler." Robertson's mother told police he had grown more pro-gay and trans-right-oriented. So here's him and his mom. Nice family photo. Having a nice ice cream. Standing in his room in his apartment, I guess. Another nice family photo. It's sad for this family. They've lost a son over this. So I do feel bad for the whole family. I actually feel bad for Tyler, too. He's crazy. And for whatever reason, the system did not identify him as crazy and get him the help he needed. I always say we need better mental health resources in this country because there are a lot of crazy people in this country. She then called Robinson and asked him where he was at the time of the shooting, the top prosecutor said. So mom and dad are both calling him. He said he was at home sick and he'd been sick on the 10th. The aggravated murder charge potentially makes Robinson eligible for the death penalty under Utah law, which President Trump, who was a close friend of Kirk, has publicly supported. Yeah, they knew each other. That's one of the things that's crazy. He definitely was a Trump supporter. Trump supporters don't deserve to die. Utah is one of 5 states that still uses the firing squad as a method of capital punishment. So here's the boyfriend. Robinson's transgender partner, Lance Twiggs. Here's Robinson again. He just looks like a normal guy. Now, they're all saying, hey, he's MAGA, white conservative, MAGA. You know, these white supremacists are out there. And now they're even saying he's a patsy, that there was a second gunman. Because, of course, there were. Because I saw Michael Savage said, hey, we watched it. And go back and watch my video where I analyze that. But he claims we watched someone jump off a roof with no gun. So what happened to the gun? And that just feeds into the conspiracy theories. It's nonsense. I watched the video. He jumped off the roof with a gun. I'm 100% convinced of that. And if you don't agree, go back and watch my video. And once you've watched it, come back and tell me I'm wrong. A disturbing text exchange revealed in Robinson's indictment between the suspect and his trans roommate shed new light on the alleged killer's twisted mindset in the hours after the shooting, which he said he'd been planning for a bit of a week. In the message, Robinson expressed fear about having to leave the murder weapon behind at the scene, suggesting it belonged to his grandfather, and his pretty diehard MAGA dad would be mad. I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me, he said. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits, didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck am I going to explain losing it to the old man? He wondered in the exchange. Yeah, so here's the alleged rifle. Prints left on the roof where Robinson allegedly fired. So here's from the firing position. Outside, they said they collected DNA from when he jumped off the roof. He got his hands and arm onto the ledge and the side of the roof, and they said they got DNA there. And they also found a screwdriver and a towel in the investigation. I believe the towel was back with the gun. I don't know where the screwdriver was found. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think it was a 2K scope. Robinson wrote in messages. Okay, so they're just going through the same text. His father and grandfather grew increasingly worried after the FBI released a picture of the weapon. My dad wants a photo of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released the photo. Conservatives have been in mourning since Kirk's assassination. A lot of people have been in mourning, but I think a lot of people are just angry. And they're seeing all these people actually celebrating a man's death in the thousands. And they try to draw what I believe is a false equivalency. And they go like, hey, don't look at that, but look over here. Right-wing violence, when they're not the same thing. I didn't see thousands and thousands of cheering it on. There might have been a few knuckleheads, but it wasn't thousands. And I say it's not the same because we actually watched it in real time. So anyone celebrating is just a bad person because you are celebrating gun violence. Same people that say, oh, we got to protect our kids from school shootings. This was a school shooting that you are now cheering for this man's death in front of his wife and family. So it's not the same. Yeah, some people are mourning. I'm not mourning, but I am angry that this would happen in our country. Kirk was speaking to a crowd of about 3,000 on the campus of Utah Valley University on September 10th when a single shot rang out as he answered a question about mass shootings perpetrated by people who are transgender. He was struck in the neck and he died of his injuries hours later, kicking off a massive manhunt for the suspect before he was taken into custody. And again, conspiracy theory, they're all out there saying that this was a professional hit. There was no way that this was possible at 200 yards from that rooftop unless you were like Jason Bourne. I disagree. I think any amateur shooter who had been out shooting a few times at paper targets or hunting could have made this shot. It's been reported by friends of the family that this family was an avid hunting family. So it fits for me. If you know about guns and you think I'm wrong, if you think it would take Jason Bourne to have made that shot, tell me. Put it in the comments. While no definitive motive has been officially announced, a picture has emerged over the last week casting Robinson as having deep-seated disdain for Kirk and having been steeped in far-left politics, particularly in recent years. When his roommate asked in the text why he carried out the assassination, Robinson said, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out," charging documents show. He also expressed consternation about his father's support for President Trump. Since Trump got into office, my dad's been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson held leftist ideology and was radicalized online in the last few years, according to prosecutors accusing him of murdering Kirk, a father of 2 young children, while he debated students at UVU last week. He allegedly confessed to the assassination via messages sent through the online community on Discord, according to Washington Post. "I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything." FBI Director Kash Patel said while testifying at the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday morning that a lot more than 20 people in Discord chat are being investigated by the Bureau. "We're running them all down," he pledged. "Robinson will remain in Utah Valley Jail without bail." Yeah, I've seen some of the Discord chat logs. Basically, they were joking about the murder. So a lot of it was just joking, but they will be looking for if anyone is an accessory and helped in the planning or the execution of the murder. It's just a sad time for the country. And I wanted to get this out here because there's all this disinformation out there. Like I said, Jimmy Kimmel saying it was MAGA. Everyone on the left is saying this is all part of the Epstein conspiracy to hide the Epstein files. I just want the violence to stop. And so America is coming down on all these people celebrating pretty hard. They're all getting fired from their jobs because we're showing them, yeah, you've got free speech, but so do we. And we're not going to tolerate that speech in a civil society. And so, yeah, you can say it, but there's consequences, and we're going to fire you, and we're going to shame you in the public square. And I'm all for that. We have to stop this. The media has to stop calling Trump and his supporters Nazis and fascists. If you keep doing that, people get shot and killed by the mentally ill. Eventually, you wind them up enough. I hope something good actually comes out of this and the rhetoric dials down. We'll see. So far, it looks like they're digging in. I don't see it dying down yet, because if it keeps going this way, there's just going to be more violence, and that's not good for anyone. And the media is complicit. And Facebook's already censored 2 of my posts related to Charlie Kirk that were completely innocuous. Jimmy Kimmel and ABC are hiding what he said. That's disappeared. And TikTok is hiding my posts related to this. And again, these are all ones that should be okay. So the platforms are all complicit in hiding the truth and then letting these conspiracy theories flourish. I just wanted to get the truth out there. There it is. Let me know in the comments whether you agree, disagree. Did I miss something? Whatever. If you like this, like and subscribe. If you don't like it, don't watch me. Thanks. Bye.